Today, we're going to talk about a story that's, well, it's recent and it's absolutely heartbreaking. It's a story about a community's desperate search, a family's unimaginable loss, and a betrayal of trust that is just chilling. This is the story of Audrey Cunningham. So let's set the scene. We're in Livingston, Texas, a small city in East Texas. The date is Thursday, February 15th, 2024. It was a day that started out completely normal, just like any other. But it would end with the entire town holding its breath. Because by the end of that day, there was really only one question on everyone's mind, a terrifying question. Where is Audrey Cunningham? An 11-year-old girl had simply vanished, and a massive, desperate search was about to kick off. So how does something like this even begin? Well, it starts with something simple and utterly terrifying. A child just never made it to school.
Audrey Cunningham, she was just 11 years old. She left her home that morning, supposedly to catch the school bus, but she never actually got to the bus stop. And when she didn't come home that afternoon, her family just knew something was terribly, terribly wrong.
The authorities, thankfully, they moved fast. An Amber Alert was issued, and suddenly Audrey's face was being broadcast all across the state. Right away, law enforcement, community members, everyone started to mobilize, all just clinging to that hope that she would be found and that she would be safe.
And what came next? It was just 5 agonizing days of searching. You can only imagine how every single hour that ticked by weighed on her family and on the search teams who were out there just scouring the area.
Okay, so day 1, the alert goes out. For 2 whole days, there was nothing, a real lack of leads. Then, on the 3rd day, they found something critical. Audrey's little red Hello Kitty backpack was discovered near Lake Livingston. It was a tangible connection to her, for sure, but its location, that only made the mystery and the fear so much deeper. The search would ultimately end on the 5th day with the most tragic discovery possible. Now, as that search got more and more intense, the investigation started to zero in on one particular person. And the identity of this individual, it would reveal a betrayal of trust that is just so hard to comprehend. And here's the thing that's it's so hard to wrap your head around. The prime suspect wasn't some stranger lurking in the shadows. In fact, he had apparently been helping with the search efforts, knocking on doors with other concerned people, all while knowing exactly what happened. His name is Don Stephen McDougal, and he wasn't just some acquaintance, he was a friend of the family. He lived in a trailer on their property, and he was even one of the people who would sometimes take Audrey to her bus stop. This was someone inside their circle of trust. So, with the investigation now centered squarely on McDougal, it led authorities to a really grim location. All that hope that it kept the community going for 5 long days, it was about to be extinguished. On February 20th, that's 5 days after she first went missing, they found Audrey's body. It was discovered in the Trinity River, right under a highway bridge, not very far from where they'd found her backpack. And the details that came out from the authorities, they were just horrific. Her body had been deliberately hidden from searchers, she was found tied to a large rock, and the rope used was a match to rope that investigators had seen inside McDougal's vehicle. The official cause of death, later confirmed by the medical examiner, was ruled homicidal violence. To be specific, from blunt head trauma. In the aftermath of this just awful tragedy, the focus, it shifted. It went from searching for a missing little girl to trying to find some semblance of justice for her memory. John Stephen McDougal was, very quickly charged with capital murder, and to avoid the death penalty, he ended up pleading guilty. He accepted a sentence of life in prison with absolutely no possibility of parole. And with the legal side of things over, what's really left is just the memory of this little girl. Her family, they remember Audrey as this joyous, talented kid, a really vibrant child who had her entire life ahead of her. During the sentencing, Audrey's dad, he actually spoke directly to McDougal in court. And his words just captured the absolute scale of what his family lost. He said, "She gave my family purpose, and you stole that from me." Audrey's story is incredibly painful, but it's so important that we tell it. Our goal here is to bring attention to cases just like hers. So if there's another story out there that you think needs to be told, please let us know down in the comments. And if you believe in what we're doing here, bringing attention to these cases, we'd really appreciate it if you'd subscribe. Thank you for listening.